Look at the fanboy.
What a Darth hater. I'm so subversive.
Woo! If you're like me, in the past few months, you've read about, talked about, debated about, and learned about Star Wars more than probably ever in your life. And holy shit, is the divide real. The fists are flying. And we probably all know the reason that happened. Let's get something out of the way right away. I'm an older fan. Older fans get a lot of shit. I'm here to talk about things I've heard said one too many times from one group of fans to another, and to hopefully shed some light on some of the views you might have about older fans. Before you decide, oh, this is gonna be a one-sided argument, it's not. Now I know, we can be a little bit, and we're a little bit, I walked uphill both ways in the snow to see the Star Wars. But we're not all that bad. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Star Wars belongs to us now.
Oh shit. Better start rebranding a few things then. If this is any indication of what's ahead, then it's all yours. Enjoy. You're just pissed off all the time because your theories and your expectations weren't met. No, we're pissed because a lot of people think the story sucked. Bad characters, plot lines thrown down the toilet, others completely ignored. It just needed to go somewhere. This one cracks me up because there must be some people out there who honestly think that we walk into a movie with this whole checklist of stuff that has to be met. What I can tell you about myself is that I didn't have any expectations. I also think you might want to double check the demographics on theory culture. That market primarily belongs to younger fans, not the old timers.
I can't wait for some of these old geezers to just die off.
Bitch, do I look like an old geezer? Also, I want to point out something very important that happened between 1985 and 1995. Believe it or not, interest in Star Wars was actually dying. Hasbro didn't relaunch his Star Wars action figures until 1995, leaving a 10-year window of just dead space. No more action figures. Even though Star Wars was kind of barely breathing during that time, it was the older fans who kept it going. If it weren't for them and their undying enthusiasm, you wouldn't have them as a pre-existing strong fan base when Star Wars re-emerged in 1997. You'd have no toys to speak of. And then where would you spend your bi-weekly Chili's paycheck? Not to mention, right now sounds like a great time to buy toys, especially at these prices. Older fans just want nostalgia and Luke. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Seriously though, come on. And would it be fair to say that all younger fans want are lightsaber fights? And hell yeah, we want Luke. We love Luke. We grew up with Luke. He's one of our biggest heroes. And a lot of people are really pissed at what happened to him in The Last Jedi. Think of it this way. What if a character like Professor X once contemplated killing one of his students, and then in a fit of disillusion and regret, decided it was suddenly time for the X-Men to end, and retired to Walmart to become a greeter and hand out coupons for the rest of his life as a means of penance? That would piss off a lot of people, because that's not who he is.
The Last Jedi is what the franchise needs right now.
Good leadership is what the franchise needs right now.
Origin stories are interesting and we need answers.
Not everybody does. I'm gonna make a little analogy using this original 1978 Walrus Man action figure. Fans young and old will immediately recognize that aside from the head, Walrus Man pretty much looks nothing like this. I mean, look at this asshole. He's wearing a romper and blue tights in one of the meanest cantinas in the galaxy. Yeah, no one would be caught dead wearing this to any bar oh, shit. Let me tell you why I'm bringing this up. In the process of designing these action figures, sometimes they had little more to go off than a movie still. Basically, when Lucasfilm didn't provide the answers, Kenner made the rest up. And as young fans seeing the movies, when Lucasfilm didn't provide the answers, we made that up. We weren't wondering where Darth Vader went to high school. We weren't wondering what Yoda's entire life story was. My point is that we went with it. Also, don't forget, in the 70s and 80s, cinema was not saturated with comic book movies. We definitely had the occasional one, but not like today. And Star Wars is such a character-driven universe that most of the time we had all the information that we needed. So we went with what we had. We grew up in the culture of making it up, instead of the culture of origin stories. And I hate to beat a dead horse, but here's a little cinematic math. So if you understand where we came from, it might help you understand why we react the way we do to some things with these new films. And speaking of not needing origin stories to answer everything, I don't care what anybody says, there are only two motherfuckers qualified to play young Harrison Ford. This guy and this guy. And one of them's dead, and the second guy apparently got overlooked. You can keep your newfangled Han Solo. Doesn't even have a chin scar, pussy. And we don't need any of your fancy CGI Leia or Maggie Smith. I really don't want to see this. And as much as Disney tries to convince us, the real Han Solo ain't coming back, folks. It's over. Older Star Wars fans are inflexible and completely resistant to change. That couldn't be farther from the truth. That's a complete myth. That doesn't go there. Yes.
Star Wars has been dominated by men for far too long.
And I guess chick flicks have been dominated by chicks for too long? You can't rely on Rotten Tomatoes for an accurate audience score. And didn't it get hacked? So why was Rotten Tomatoes a reliable source for movie scores up until this point, when it didn't reflect what you wanted it to? Oh, and just casually dismissing the opinions of over 128,000 people sounds like a really good talking point. And really, it got hacked by trolls? Maybe it was the Russians.
In communist Russia, movie reviews you.
That toxic masculinity of Star Wars needs to be put in its place.
Ah, yes. Let's address that, shall we? Yeah, as characters, Han and Luke risked everything, forged a loyal friendship, and put their lives on the line to fight evil. They sound like total dicks, and two guys I would never want on my side. When you say crap like that, you're kind of passive-aggressively implying that the original trilogy is inherently broken. It's not. Why is it when male characters are asserting themselves and using their strength and their brains to accomplish something for the better of all people, they're toxic? But when a woman is doing the exact same thing, she's heroic. Characters of one gender should not succeed in these films at the expense of another. If we're all in this together, then let's get behind that without the competitive bullshit. It's not a gender war.
You need to move on with your life. Star Wars is for kids.
You can't fairly assess a movie only seeing it once.
What? Yes, you can.
I've had multiple viewings of the latest Star Wars movie, and I actually think it got better each time.
You don't have to keep going back to kind of check and make sure it's a piece of crap. If I'm eating dinner at a restaurant and I can very clearly see my entree is burnt, should I keep eating it just to check? No. I should either send it back, order something new, or get it taken off the fucking bill.
The Last Jedi has made over $1 billion, so it's obviously successful no matter what you say.
Well, here are some other franchises that made over $1 billion. What's your point? Contrary to popular belief, money doesn't always equal success. It might just mean that a lot of people gave it one chance.
Finally, we have strong females in sci-fi fantasy roles. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, really? Allow me.
Maybe the next one will be better.
Do you have that one friend who every 2 weeks you devote a couple hours of your life to drinking beer and discussing the shitty relationship they're currently in that's gonna go nowhere? That's what listening to some Star Wars fans is like. They just can't help themselves. If they would just get the right director, everything will be better. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy will change? Maybe Disney will stop sucking all the creativity and magic out of Star Wars? Hold me.
You will die alone.
And to add the abuse, now we've got this guy throwing stuff in the mix.
Yeah, well, you know, anybody who didn't like The Last Jedi is just, you know, threatened by women.
Wow. Did you hear that, ladies?
You could probably look at the first film that Lucas did and say that Leia was too outspoken or, too tough.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Nobody was doing that, dipshit.
We want to take the franchise in a new direction. We need more strong females.
Oh my god.
Hey, did somebody say episode 9? You're on, Kathy, baby.
The Force is female.
Did you just assume my gender?
Can everyone just calm down for a second and look at pictures of Star Wars shaped food? Dear J.J. Abrams, I'm on board for your suggestions of new directors and diversity of opportunity. I'd personally like to volunteer you to be the first to give up your cushy zillion-dollar job. Go ahead and open your mystery box! So that's my rant. Is the war gonna go on? Probably, but I hope we can find some middle ground in here somewhere. As the fan base gets more and more divided, I at least hope this can help shed some light on where people are coming from, and that there's room for everybody. So from the mouth of this old geezer, I hope Star Wars is always a fulfilling experience for you.
And holy shit, looks like some groveling is in order, thanks to you.
Let's keep the conversation going. I definitely want to hear from you, right down there. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and you can also check out my other videos. Totally glad you stopped by, and I will see you later.